Palworld is not your typical survival crafting game. Your long-term goal is not, how can I get myself to chop down this tree faster? Instead, it's how do I make sure I never have to personally chop down a tree again? So starting it off with early game here, two structures that you need to craft right away to automate stone and wood. That's going to bring us to the logging site and the stone pit. Once you do, place these down inside of your base radius. It's important to note that every PAL has their own individual work suitability. Each individual PAL will be specialized in different tasks. You can see here we've got kindling, planting, handiwork, lumbering, medicine product, transporting, water, generating electric, gathering, mining, cooling, and farming. The farming one is misleading and actually should say ranching. And once you have the right PALs and the right structures, it basically creates a sustainable automation system, and both of these stations provide infinite resources of things like wood and fiber and stone. It's also worth noting that unlocking the monitoring stand is a really big benefit here because it allows you to basically micromanage all of your individual PALs, and that does mean you can also turn off some of the skills if you don't want them to perform that action. Alrighty, so now that we've got both of these systems running here, we've got stone being farmed and wood and fiber being farmed, let's talk about what we need to do to get it into a chest to then automate the entire process. That brings us to a third PAL, and that has to have the work specialization of transport. You can see it looks like the little box icon on the far right hand side. Place down a chest, make sure it's readily available, and using the monitoring stand, have that PAL just dedicated to transporting as his skill, so that he'll walk around and make sure that everything is picked up from all of the individual crafting structures, and then bringing them or sorting them out and putting them in chests. One really important one that a lot of players I see doing, including myself, is running around the map or the early version of the map trying to gather as many berries as you possibly can. Well, again, this is also very inefficient. There's actually a much easier and faster way to handle this where you basically never have to touch it again. In the technology tree, you'll also unlock a berry plant or a berry farming plant. It looks like a giant crop plot. You're going to grab this, craft it, place it down at your base. And now for this structure, we're actually going to need a PAL, either a single PAL or multiple PALs with 3 different work sustainabilities. The first one brings us to seeding, right? It's got the little seed icon here. You're going to need that one in order for you to have the PAL itself place down seeds. Secondly, is going to bring us to watering. We need to water those crops. And then third and final one we have, and this is the harvesting one, you're going to need some PAL that has this as well. Place down a campfire, and you also need to place down the feed box for your PALs, which is where your PALs go to collect food. 2 things here. The first one, you can actually place the raw berries directly from the farm in the feed box, and yes, the PALs will eat that. However, it's actually better to cook the berries, and in order to do that, have a fire PAL placed down at your base, and then that fire PAL will directly go and cook those berries. Once again, you've got the same transporting PAL, will end up grabbing those cooked berries and then placing them into the desired area, more than likely going to be the feed box. And that's pretty much the entire loop when it comes to serving your food sustainability inside of your base. It's also worth noting here that base layout matters because the PALs do get caught and their AI pathing is not great. I highly recommend, especially early game, for you to keep everything wide and everything open, so then that every single PAL has no obstruction to get from crafting bench to crafting bench, and will truly allow you freedom here when it comes to full automation. And when it comes to the early game PALs that specialize in individual work tasks, you need to set up this automation. Capriti, because this one's going to be directly needed for your berry farm. Ekthir deer, basically the purple deer that you find early on. You can get this one here. They have a level 2 in lumbering, which is going to be used for your wood station. Next up is Fox Sparks, as this is going to be your first cooking PAL, your fire-related PAL in the game. Pingulet is another one that's early game you'll discover right off the bat. It does have watering and transporting, so this PAL will cover both of those things you need here for your early game automation. Next, we have Rushore. This one you unlock the saddle early game. It also has level 1 here in mining, and while you are mounted, it does increase the efficiency of destroying stones by 500. So even if he's not mining at your base, you could ride on the back of him to then farm a bunch of stone utilizing his skill. And before I honestly understood how the entire system works here for Palworld, I was definitely jumping in and treating it like a standard survival crafting game, as I've put in thousands of hours in other survival games, so my brain immediately went to something like punching trees, right? Farming up trees when I needed wood, farming up stone or ore when I needed it, manually myself, or even crafting 500 arrows that takes a very long time to do individually, but having individual pals specialize in individual tasks will make a massive difference when it comes to how you play the game and how you perceive Palworld in general. And this is honestly just scratching the surface. Palworld, as you level up, continues to give you different ways to increase your automation, whether that's via new structures or new pals that have better work suitabilities or just simply higher levels in their desired work suitabilities. And if you found this video helpful, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel, as I am pumping out more Palworld and other survival gaming content. As always, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next one.